Hello everybody, this is the Magic Man, the tennis preacher, the prophet, the psychic, coming back at you again with another video. Everybody, this is the Magic Man, the tennis preacher, the prophet, the psychic, coming back at you again with another video. Okay people, this is an interesting video. Man, I was going to title the video, what does Nadal have to do to win, to become the GOAT? But then I also want to talk about what has kept Nadal from becoming the GOAT. In other words, why isn't Nadal the GOAT? And I know Nadal fans say it's because he's been injured, and some of that's true, but that ain't totally true. Nadal has had more than enough opportunities to be the GOAT. Because if that was true, for example, people, listen. Okay, let's just say during the Nadal-Djokovic rivalry, Nadal was out for 3 years, and let's say he only had a chance to play Djokovic 3 matches during 2011, 2016. We know that's not true. We know that the Djokovic-Nadal rivalry, I think they have played more matches than any other rivalry. Okay, and that's one reason why they are the top 2 rivalries. Okay, so that's not an excuse. I mean, Nadal, and we can even go recently. I mean, forget all the other matches that Nadal has lost against Djokovic. So imagine if he would have won just half of those he lost against Djokovic. Okay? But let's just go even recently. Wimbledon 2018. People. Who was it that stopped Nadal from winning his 18th major? Djokovic beat him in the semifinal, 5 sets. Let's go really recently, couple weeks ago or less. Who beat Nadal in the final of the Australian Open? That was a top-level Nadal, okay? It was Djokovic. So people, now listen, the answer to the 2 questions I got, okay, I got 2 questions for the video. And guess what? The answer to both of the questions are the same answers. Okay. Why hasn't Nadal become the GOAT? It's because of Djokovic, people. And what does Nadal, here's the second question, what does Nadal have to do to become the GOAT? It is to beat Djokovic. Okay, now this is what's hilarious, people. And you all can not just look at my channel's comments, you can look at comments all across, not just YouTube, across social media about tennis. Read the conversations in all social media outlets about the GOAT debate. Most Nadal fans, they are at odds with Federer fans. Most Nadal fans, and I know Federer fans are at odds with Nadal fans. Mostly you see Nadal fans hating Federer fans, and Federer fans hating on Nadal fans. And they argue with each other. But very seldom, even as of this day, people, do you hear Nadal fans really arguing that much with Djokovic fans. Not too much. I mean, you know what? I mean, I'm serious. So you would think Nadal fans, instead of hating Federer, Federer isn't the problem, people. People, think about this. Who has a better head-to-head between Federer and Nadal? And Nadal fans know this. They brag about it all the time. It's Nadal. So actually, Federer didn't really keep Nadal from winning that much, except for the last couple years. Okay, Federer beat Nadal the last 4 or 5 consecutive times in big matches, okay? But people, I just thought about this. The problem, I mean, you would think if you came from another planet and read the comment section and the conversations in the comment section, you'd be like, okay, it's Federer that stopped Nadal. It's Federer who's arguably the GOAT. He stopped Nadal from being the GOAT. Because it sounds like Nadal fans are always arguing with Federer fans. And Federer fans with Nadal fans. But no. It's not Federer. It's Djokovic. People, here's another thing about the Federer-Nadal rivalry. Do you know, people, as much as we talk about that rivalry, they haven't played each other as much as people think in comparison to other rivalries. And also, people, when Federer beat Nadal in the Australian Open, and then, you know, he beat him in Indian Wells in 2017, and beat him in Miami, and then beat him in Shanghai. Federer say one reason why he was able to clear Nadal out of his head is that he didn't play Nadal for like 2 years or more, almost 3 years. I think they played in some exhibition. So Nadal and Federer, people, believe me, I know that sounds strange, and y'all can go check on the facts with this here. Over a 20-year period, as much as we talk about Nadal and Federer, they haven't played each other as much as you think, okay? Now, this sort of supports what I'm getting ready to tell you. Nadal fans, if you want Nadal to be the GOAT, it's not Federer. Another reason it's not Federer. Federer is old now. He could retire. Federer may not win another major. The problem for Nadal has always been since 2011. The problem for Nadal is a Serbian who got an all-around game, who the Djokovic fans call him the God mode. It is Djokovic that is the problem for Nadal. He always was and he always will be, okay? And until Nadal solved the Djokovic problem, he would never become the GOAT. Because Djokovic is going to... Listen, please, before somebody jump in that comment section and tell me that Djokovic is not the one that stopped Nadal from becoming the GOAT. Like I said, we can just start recently, 2 weeks ago. If Nadal would have won the Australian Open, he would have had 18. All right, that's 2 behind Federer. He don't even have to, Nadal doesn't even have to play Federer anymore. He got a better head-to-head than Federer. Federer only got 20. If Nadal would have beat Djokovic in the Australian Open 2 weeks ago, he would have 18. And if Nadal would have beat Djokovic in the semifinal of the Wimbledon 7 months ago, or however long it was, 7 months, 6 months, Nadal would have 19 without even playing Federer, without even speaking at Federer. He don't even have to look at Federer anymore. It's Djokovic he needs to look at, okay? Now, I just went back 8 months ago and show you Nadal will have 19 majors right now if he would have beat Djokovic just in the last 8 months. Now, if I went back between 2011 to 2016, you know how many times they played? If he would have beat Djokovic then, at least half of those, he would have surpassed Federer and be the GOAT now. So what is the pathway for Nadal, and the video is over, the pathway for Nadal to become the GOAT is to beat that Djokovic and beat him consistently and keep Djokovic from winning majors, okay? All right, people? And I don't want to hear this, no magic man. It's Federer. It's Federer as the problem. No, Federer ain't no problem. I'm telling you right now. How can he be the problem? He don't even have a better head-to-head with Nadal. I'm telling you, that's not the problem, okay? All right, people. People, I want to ask something else here. This is sort of getting off subject, but let me try to do this quick. People, Nadal, okay, there was another opportunity where Nadal could have become the GOAT really early in his career, okay? Okay, people, you know, I give to Federer's credit, even though Nadal beat Federer on clay back in between 2004 and 2009, say during that period when Federer was losing against Nadal on clay, and then we know in 2008 it came to the grass, and then 2009 to the Australian Open. People, if Nadal would have been able to, if he would have been more all around the way he is now, and the way he became all around, like in 2008. Now, I know Nadal was young then, because one Nadal fan said, he said, "Imagine, man, you're crazy, you're an idiot. How do you expect an 18-year-old to become #1 and keep Federer from winning on the other surface as an 18, 19-year-old? Well, my question to that is, he beat Federer and beat everybody else in the French Open at the age of 18, at the age of 19. At the age of 20, at the age of 21. So imagine if Nadal at the age of 18 could have won a Wimbledon or U.S. Open. At the age of 19 won another major on another surface. So that would have split, that would have threatened Federer. He did threaten Federer later, okay? We know he was in the final, he was in the final, 2006 Wimbledon and the 2007 Wimbledon. I think Federer beat him then, right? Yeah, it still went 5 sets. But imagine if the Dow could have maybe threatened Federer's #1 spot like earlier in his career. Oh man, he would have been the GOAT he would have been the GOAT by 2011. Before the Djokovic's era, he could have been like, he wouldn't have been the GOAT then, but it would have put the Federer GOATness in doubt. It would have been even closer then. It would have been, he wouldn't have been the GOAT by that time, but he would have been right under Federer then the way he is now. And it would have been easier after 2011 had Nadal threatened Federer on other surfaces. When I say threaten him now, I know you probably say, well, Magic Man, he did threaten Federer. He almost beat Federer in the Wimbledon. No, when I say threaten, I'm talking about winning majors on the other surfaces. Nadal, his first 3 years after he won, he didn't win a major. After 18, he just won French Opens. He was winning French Opens, but suppose he would have won majors on other surfaces at the age of 19. Just won Australian Open, maybe a Wimbledon, maybe a U.S. Open. Boy, that would have really he would have already overtaken Federer by this time. But to Federer's credit, this is what people don't give Federer credit for. Just think about it. Why is Federer really arguably the GOAT? It's because of the period that I'm talking about between 2004 in 2008 and almost 2009, when I think Federer lost the #1 spot in 2009, maybe, or whenever it was, 2009 or something around there. Federer still was the more dominant player all around on all surfaces. Now, Federer didn't allow Nadal to overtake that #1 spot. Can you imagine if Nadal would have became #1 in like 2006 or 2007? Then he would have taken away at least half of that great legacy Federer has. What Nadal fans call the weak era, I wish they stopped saying that. It may be a weaker era, but it ain't a weak era. But, because there was a lot of champions during that era. Okay, Agassi, and Agassi was still playing at a high level, because people don't realize Agassi played better as an older player than when he was a younger player. But yeah, Nadal, that was an opportunity he missed. Now, I understand he was young, but I'm just saying, suppose he would have been able to do that. And like I said before, if somebody say, well, Magic Man, he was too young to become #1. Well, he wasn't too young to win the French Open every year at 18, 19, 20, 21, however many times he won it consecutively. Okay, people, that's it. Tennis preacher, prophet, psychic. The problem for Nadal is not Federer. Federer does not exist in Nadal's world as far as stopping Nadal from being the GOAT. It's Djokovic. He's the one, okay? Tennis preacher, prophet, psychic, signing off. Have a good one. This is the Magic Man, the tennis preacher, the prophet, the psychic, coming back at you again with another video.